When people look at this maple, they think that it is hundreds of years old. It's not. It was made 3 or 4 years ago from one of our field-grown trees. And if you look up some of the old YouTube videos that we did, I showed, this is the famous one where I used the pickaxe and the crowbar to take it out of the round flower pot, and we cut away those thick roots and then created a better nebari. And this is it after 3 or 4 years. So many of these big maples are made here. I will now show you some tricks about making maples which are not really difficult. As we say, bonsai is not rocket science. I only need to walk a few yards and I'll show you another project I'm doing. I showed this maple, this Dissectum, in the early spring when it was bright red, and I have been air layering this since last June, but not all the air layerings were successful. Some were, but some are not. So this is another very big tree. Look at the size of the trunk on this. So you can see what I have in mind. This is going to be the bonsai, this size, a large bonsai with this sort of dome shape, and I'm going to get several more trees from these branches. So this is the plan for this tree. Now, I've always said that I'm a very thrifty person. I don't like wasting. I could have easily cut all this off and then call it a day rather than air lay, but I didn't want to waste it because I can get about 10 trees from this. So I only have to be patient, wait 6 months or a year, and I'll get 10 extra trees. So that is why I lay them. But sometimes you air lay and some of the air layers are not successful and we have to abandon it. So I will show you some projects which I air laid which were not successful, and now I'm going to bite the bullet and take it to the next stage. 3 large dissectums. Dissectums don't usually make good bonsai because of the weeping habit. They tend to hide the trunk and it's very hard to create space between the branches. But I have created successful dissectums in my time. But again, this is what I was talking about. I tried to air layer some of these, but this air layering is not successful. Although you can see it's still trying to shoot new twigs from the top, and this one as well I air laid, but it's not successful. But there's still some twigs coming at the top. But the question I keep asking myself, how long can I wait? I don't want to be waiting forever and a day. So there are times come when I have to decide what to do. Do I keep air layering and get another tree? In fact, I have so many trees. What do I need so many trees for? So rather than keep trying to air layer it, because this is not a dead waste, you know, it is partly successful. Let's look at this one. If you look at what is happening here, you can see all the callousing that is happening here. It shows that it's struggling to send out roots, but it will take time. It's taking longer than necessary. But because I can't wait too much, I'm going to just cut it off. So, as they say, I've got to bite the bullet sometime, and I'm going to cut it off. Now, where I'm going to cut it off is a very critical tool. Very often, people would cut it off just bang next to where the live shoot is. But with maples, I never do that. I always leave a little stub. In fact, when I went to Taiwan in November and December of last year, I noticed that even with pines, they leave a long stub so that they don't have the thing dying back. If you cut it too close over there, it will die back to the next point. So if I leave a little stub there, then the chances are that it won't die and kill the potential leader. So I'm going to cut it around here. I'm going to abandon this air layering. That is a bad experience, so I learned something from that. So I've left a little stub there for it to die back. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to put cut paste on it so that it doesn't dry too much. When it dries, it will go further back into the trunk. So I have to put paste on that. Just wait a minute till I bring the paste. You can use all sorts of different cut pastes, but I prefer to use lac balsam. In fact, what I may do, I may cut all of them and then do the lac balsam in one go. So hang on, let me just change the plan. Let me just do this. We'll cut another one. And when I've cut it, I'll show you a successful Dissectum bonsai that I made. Again, look at all the callousing. Look at all that callousing there. So they will form roots definitely later this year. But as I said, I don't want to be waiting too long, so I will cut that. So again, I won't cut over there, I will cut somewhere up there. I find these little chainsaws very useful. You don't always have to use them, but they are useful. Let me just show you another saw that I've been using lately. There are many makes and brands of these tree saws or silky saws. This is another one. And all these silky saws you cut on the pull stroke, not on the push stroke, always on the pull stroke. This is where people make the mistake. So that's how you cut with that. Okay? And then as this forms, if you go further back and stand, you can see the potential shapes of the bonsai that will come. So you can see, this is the potential shape of the bonsai. Big bonsai, like that. Now this one, the shape is somewhere here, but whether to cut it or not, I'm not yet decided. I haven't decided yet. So I will probably leave that for now. But can you see, if I were to cut it there, I would have a perfect bonsai. Really perfect bonsai. In fact, what the hell, I may do it. See, there's a natural leader here. I'm leaving that there in case it dies back. So if it dies back, I still got the bonsai there. So that's going to be the bonsais. I will come back to the lac balsam in a minute, but let me now walk you to another area where we've got a Dissectum bonsai, which is very successful. So let's walk there. This is a Dissectum I made about 10 years ago. It was about 6 to 8 feet tall. I cut the top off and trained the branches in this way. Many people admire it. In the spring, it's a beautiful yellow-green color. It turns deeper green in the summer, and in the autumn, it is flame red. I'll try and add a still of the autumn color to add to this video so that you can appreciate the autumn color. So this shows that you can use Dissectum maples for making bonsai. Talking of cutting the tops off, it is no different from doing other things. If you come here, I will show you what I'm doing to these maples. Now these maples are, look at it, you see how thick it is? Oh God. You see how thick that is? So the tops were cut off and then I'm creating a new leader. Same with this, you see, I've cut the thick part off and a new leader is growing. So that is the general way I create bonsai in this style. And I'm now going to apply the lac balsam and I will go and show you some other projects. So I'm going to apply this lac balsam. Maples in the spring lose a lot of moisture, so in fact they bleed, almost like the silver birch. You could even tap a syrup from this. Not the Canadian maple syrup, but they do give out a liquid. So by sealing it, it prevents dieback. If you didn't do that, it may die back further into the tree. So that's what we do when we make heavy cuts. And of course, with these large trees, when I prune the large branches, I don't bother to do it. They seem to heal themselves. And now let me show you one or two other projects that we are doing. So this is another example of a Dissectum. Again, a 6 to 8 foot high Dissectum which has been cut, and I'm creating this into a large Dissectum bonsai. So the more you look, the more you find. But the main purpose of coming here is to show you what I've done with ordinary mountain maples. Now these maples here, this entire row, you can see it's about 30 or 40 foot long. These trees were planted only 10 years ago and they were no thicker than a pencil. And look at it after 10 years. They are all about 10 to 12 feet tall. Yesterday I spent just 1 hour and I managed to trim these back. So these were trimmed back yesterday. In 1 hour I did all this. All this trimming, all the maple branches were cut off and I'm trimming them back. I've got to do the rest. But what I've done so far, if you come close and see, I've trimmed them back to this size and you can see some of the beautiful, beautiful trunks that there are. Look at the beautiful trunk there. So this is going to be a big bonsai here, this size. And in fact, I might even alias some of the spare branches that are around. So this is how we make the bonsai. I haven't even bothered to seal these cuts because I know they're very vigorous. So all these trees, if I want to airlay, I will leave it. If not, I will cut it back to about there to give it this height. So they're going to be big bonsai, about 60, 70 or 80 centimeters tall. So this is how we produce our maple bonsai. So I hope this little episode showing you tricks with maples can inspire you to make very simple maple bonsai with very little effort. There you go.